makes a person of interest. Coach Micheal Burt cuts to the chase, interviewing some of the biggest names in the world. How do they think? What makes them tick? What are their thought processes? And how they became a person of interest.
We believe in spending time with talent, man. We believe in spending time with talent. In our selling system, it's called the aspirational contact. This is where you reach up to a person who is producing at such a mega level that you reach up and spend time to learn more from them so that you, my friend, can elevate your level. And where there's no exposure, where you're not getting better, you're not growing, and where there's no usage, there's no transformation. And where there's no transformation, there's nothing to talk about. Well, my friend today, Grant Cardone, is my guest. He's got the brand new book out, Be Obsessed or Be Average. And what could you say about this guy? $500 million in real estate assets. He's got X number of bestsellers. He's got his own shows. He's got his own airplane. And for a long time, this guy, whether he knows it or not, has been a coach to Coach Burt for many years since I met him when we wrote the book Zebras and Cheetahs. So, Grant, I want to welcome you, my man, to...
Man, that ain't no airplane. That's not an airplane,
that's
man. That's a mid-size jet.
I love it, man. That's exactly right. We were talking about a twin prop propeller like we got in Tennessee, right? We're talking about a serious jet that gets you from place to place. I haven't been on it yet. I've seen it, but I haven't been on it.
Dude, the fastest I've been on that thing was 604 miles an hour.
Woo.
We were coming back from Vegas, and we kept, we'd get to 580, and I went up front, and I said, guys, I've never seen a 6. And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, I need to see the 6.
6.
Bring me to 6. I said, I want to just peel the paint off this thing. It goes so fast.
I like it. 604. So listen, you got a new book out. You're doing interviews. I appreciate you being on Super Coach. Actually, you were a guy, I said this before air, that really encouraged me. I was looking for a differential advantage. You gave it to me through a tweet one day, said we got the Super Coach coming to Miami. What do you want to ask him? And so that really started a relationship between you and I. You've been a mentor. You've been a coach to me. And I was telling people today at the multiple speaking engagements I had, there's no way not to think bigger when you're around a guy like Grant Cardone. You don't talk local. You don't talk national. You talk planet Earth. And that's what we're talking today. New book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. Brand new book that is the #1 book in the world, right?
#1 business and investing book at Amazon.
Absolutely. So if you've seen the value that this guy has given away to buy this book, it was almost stupid not to buy a $29 book.
Ridiculous. Dude, how smart was that, bro?
Come on. Listen, the 13 weeks of coaching, the 10 hours immediately, I mean, the going deep.
Can I go into that, Michael?
Yeah,
Let me just
please.
tell you what happened, okay? So look, here's the deal. Every problem is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at a problem and you're willing to take a responsibility for it, every problem, this is my 7th book. It's my 19th sales and business program, right? And so the problem with books is that, one, it took 19 months to write this book. You got Penguin Random, which, hey, they're a great company, great people. I really appreciate the literary agent and the publishing company helping me with this. They're great. La, 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 la. Oh, yeah, I love them. They're wonderful. But, dude, look. They're an antiquated thinking machine. And they'll probably see this and they'll call me up and be like, dude, every time you talk about us, you got to talk about how antiquated we are, okay? Well, it's because you are, okay? Barnes & Noble is. Look, Amazon's the king of the universe because they do things different. So they're willing to drop ship, drone that freaking book to your house so you get it. Now, this is what happened. So it takes 19 months to drop the book. They got to coordinate all these different things. I'm sitting here with my office saying, hey, dude, we need to sell books before it hits, before it pops. I want to be #1 the day before it even releases. Mm-hmm. Well, Grant, we can't do that because Shark Tank's got his deal and the politicians got their deal. And I'm like, hey, look, man, don't tell me why we can't, tell me how we can. And I said, what's the problem with it? #1 is, how do I get somebody to buy something from me today I don't give to them for 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. How do I get somebody to buy a product and they can't read? How do I get somebody to buy a product when they don't like to read and or don't have time? Right? So let's solve those problems and we're good. And they're like, we can't solve those problems. I said, you can't. But I can, because I'm taking responsibility. So what I did was this. Okay, what would I have to get somebody today? Oh, you know what I'll do? They don't like to read. They don't want to read. I'll get them video, because I'm dealing with my publishing agreement, which says I won't release any of the book, dude. Mm-hmm. So I can't. My hands are tied, bro. I'm like, I'm up on the cross, man. I want to do good, man, but I can't get off. And so I've said, okay, well, I can't write a book. They don't even want me to talk about it yet because they want to wait for this big week. I said, dude, what we'll do is I'll just do a movie on the book. Mm-hmm. I'll make a movie on the book. I came in here 6 days, shot the video where I'm reading the book and riffing on it. I can't drop the audio. I can't drop the book. I can't release any of the book, but they didn't say I couldn't drop video. So I did. Mm-hmm. And dude, that handled a lot of problems. And then we also delivered the mastermind because 84% of people that buy a book don't finish it. And I feel responsible for that. I don't want $17 from somebody and then they don't finish it and they associate my name with something they didn't finish. So we did the coaching. Like today was our second coaching. There was about 1,000 people there today that already they're reading the book, and I'm telling them while I'm writing the book. So they're getting all the different angles. Anyway, I just want to say that wherever you have a problem, okay, whether you're an actor, an actress, director, writer, trying to get a movie done, raise money, whatever, wherever there's a problem, if you become obsessed with the problem and solving the problem, if you become obsessed with it, you'll find a solution to it.
Well, I think about this. I think about back in our time in Mexico when you did the 10X event. We were down there together. You said something that day. You said money only changes hands when problems are solved. Mm-hmm. The bigger the problem, the more people pay to solve it, right?
That's right.
And so you did the traditional way, which is what a lot of people do, release this, give them a chapter, do this. Everything has already been told to people. And you said, look, man, I can't get people to buy the book. I can't get people, I can't get it to them. And it's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that eat the slow. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
That's what you say when you endorse zebras and cheetahs. It's the fast that eat the slow today. And so we're going to get into some great topics, and money changes hands when problems are solved. You taught me that, and we've taught that. So we're going to get into some big questions here today. And when I was preparing this, I kept coming back. You said we're going to get into the biblical principles. And, I'm a man of faith, and I kept coming back to the manna principle.
And my friend, I am a man of faith, too, just so people understand. Like a lot of people, they misunderstand where I'm at. Dude, I am a man of faith, and I am a master of action.
Yes.
And the Bible talks about, faith of a mustard seed, baby.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
And dude, you only need this much, right? You only need this much. But let me tell you what you need a lot of after that.
A lot of action.
You need a lot of action.
Well, that's what got me thinking about you. And what I wrote down, the very first question was the manna principle. When the Israelites were out there in the desert, God only gave them enough food for one day. Okay. And every day they had to start over. Every day they had to start over with nothing. And that's why
I go broke all the time. That's why I get rid of all my money.
And that's the exact point I want to ask you about, because you very well, with your real estate holdings in your companies, could wake up and do what most people do, which is get into a plateaued or static state, entropic. You could become complacent, but you actually really operate from his principles that every day, no matter what you've created, you get up and you start over again. You start over again. So talk to the viewers and listeners about that.
Number one. Look, I think the Bible's got all kind of good lessons. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think people take the stuff that they like and then leave the rest.
That's right.
There's one quote in there where the Lord, spent 6 days creating the heavens and the earth, and he took the seventh day off. People take the last. He took the seventh day off, right? Whatever that 6, 7 words, but they forgot everything he did before it.
That's the first 6 days. That's right.
See what I saw when I read that. I'm like, dude, that cat, he was out there doing some fantastic stuff for 6 days. Didn't say anything about sleep. It didn't say anything about an 8-hour day. It's like he created the heavens. He talked about what he did, not how long he worked, okay? And how much he did and how much he created. And then he took a day off. I know people taking 2 and 3 days off don't do anything. And think they're entitled to it because their company gave them a day off. So back to your original question, though, is I go broke all the time, man. I get rid of money. I refuse to put a reliance on something, because I have before, that was created by man. This was created by man, not by God, not by a power greater than you can understand, whatever you want to call it. This was created by man on this planet, It's a piece of paper, came from a cotton bush. It was manufactured through a machine, right? We don't know how much of it that was made. And what I do is, like even our accounting principles here at the company, we sell contracts. 50% of my products are sold on a contract. That means people are going to pay me into the future. So if you look at AT&T or Sprint, Verizon, they have future contracts. They do what's called accrual accounting. They actually report these things before they happen. I don't do that. All I report is what I got this month, okay? If I sell $2 million worth of contracts and I collect 20 grand, my income for the month was 20 grand. Mm-hmm. When the truth is my income really, in some accounting principles, was $2 million worth of contracts. But what I do is I deceive myself, if you will. I deceive my people, if you will, okay? Because I know this started out as a deception. This is a deception in itself. Okay, it's only worth whatever you think it's worth. Okay, if you're hungry, it's worth nothing because you'll trade this in for food. If you're thirsty, you'll trade 100 in for water. If you think it'll buy you a special number that'll win you $1 million or love, then you'll trade it in. It's only worth what you think you can get from it. And unfortunately, most people put too much reliance on too little of this, too much faith in this, and not enough faith on their actions. And that goes back to the principles of the Bible. Have the faith of a mustard seed. It doesn't say have that big of faith, man. Mm-hmm. You know, if you got this much faith, you don't need to work on the faith thing anymore. You need to work on the action things. I know a lot of people with a lot of faith that act like the cowards.
Well, you've talked about the concept of hustle is overused because there's a lot of people hustle don't produce anything, right?
Look, these are just popular words now. The hustle, the grind. See, we go through these trends in society where people start using buzzwords. You know, I'm not a real buzzword guy. I don't get stuck on little phrases. You see me change my wording quite often. I'm never stuck very long on a topic. Now, that's probably good and bad for me because I probably don't get all I can out of a subject. But I'm not interested in hustle and grind, dude. I'm interested in prosperity and affluence and affluence and being a good example. And it was an interesting quote in here about in the manna principle. Yet there is that one who scatters, yet increases more. Mm-hmm. And there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. Mm-hmm. The generous soul will be made rich. Dude, I'm so rich, way more than the jets and the cars.
That's right.
You know, I got 2 cars. I got three cars. We got 2.5 cars, really. I got 2 Range Rovers and a Honda Civic. That's a half a car. And I've never been in the Honda Civic because somebody else drives that, right? We provided that for somebody that supports us at the office. But that's not my money, man. This is not where I'm rich, man. I'm rich because I help people. I had my buddy that sold this company for $21 billion. He watched me do a Facebook stream and there was 31,000 people on it. Mm. He watched me give 1 hour. And he's like, what were you paid to do that? I said, dude, I was paid nothing and everything. Mm-hmm. How often do you do those? I do 1 or 2 of them a day. He's like, hey, man, I'm worth $4 billion. He said, what you just did is worth more than all the money I have. Mm. I can't do that, Grant. I can't do that every day. He's like, by the way, The Rock won't do it. The celebrities that have huge, giant, million people platforms won't do it because they won't be there every day giving it. They're only going to be there when they're there to either drop their book, drop their movie, or drop their program. So that's the way I get, dude. I get from giving. And it doesn't. I need money to do this. Because the jet. You know, when I bring it over there and I'm like, put 10,000 pounds in it, they don't say, but how many people have you helped this week?
That's right.
Hey, welcome to Ask a Pro. Grant Cardone here with my friend, Coach Micheal Burt, Monster Producer Academy. He's the founder of, CEO. He's a personal friend of mine. Monster Producer Academy also sits at Cardone U now, if you don't know that. And I went out and sought Micheal Burt because I'm like, this dude is a professional coach, not an amateur coach, not a dilettante, not a mamby-pamby. Dude, This guy gets you accelerated growth. Yes. Okay, he gets you spikes and spurts and spurges. He'll show you how to scale your business, but before you scale your business, he'll show you how to grow your business.
Yeah.
Okay?
my next question was this. Obviously, at some point you said, all right, we did 10X, which became a phenomenal hit. But you said, there's some things we left out in 10X that we needed to say. You've always been an obsessed guy. I went back and watched our interview from 4 years ago. You were talking about obsession 4 years ago. Yeah. Even in our last interview 4 years ago. And so here's
because it hadn't finished. It's cooking. The meal keeps cooking. You put the thing in the microwave for 3 minutes, just like they said, and you take it out, dude. It's still cooking, man. The meal is still cooking. The book's still cooking. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody would be well advised to not study 16 different people. Go deep on one guy. If Mike Burt's your guy, then go deep on him, man, and find out how much has he got. How much does the guy have to give you? Go deep on the dude, and then find out one day you're like, if you pass him by, quit studying the cat. So once you pass your mentor by, don't study him anymore. Let him study you now. Or maybe pick somebody you can't easily pass up.
So when you're thinking about this concept of obsession, and I noticed this years ago with your people, you have built obsessed people. And so I think a lot of people want to know, my question was, how do you draw out the obsession in your team? Because you got a bunch of obsessed people for you that come to work every day. I've been to your offices multiple times. Yeah. I think everybody, even when I was with you in Mexico, I mentioned it to you, man, these people that you have attracted to you are obsessed. How do you draw it out? How do you attract it? How do you implant it in the people that are coming to work with you at Grant Cardone Enterprises?
I mean, we never talk about it. Mm-hmm. Somebody else would talk about it. See, they're going to try to create the obsessed culture by talking about it. We don't even talk about culture here. I never talk about leadership. But everybody knows who's in charge here. So I don't know, dude. I am who I am. I just show up to every day. I get to be me. I mean, I'm being me. And the one thing they do hear me talk about today is shame on you if you're a hypocrite. You work here, we're telling people to do all this stuff and you're not doing it. Shame on you. How can you go to sleep at night saying, I sell Toyotas, but I drive a Honda? I sell AT&T, but I buy Sprint. Okay. I sell Android phones, but I own an iPhone. All right. I'm a preacher talking about, doing the right thing and I'm cheating on my wife. How the hell do you live with yourself? I don't get it, man. I want to be free, man. Freedom starts with yourself. So that's the other thing about like there's a lot of guys out there that rip people off of material. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, give people credit. If you find somebody, Mark Cuban says something, I don't take Mark Cuban's quote. I share Mark Cuban's quote. And it actually empowers me and makes me look better, not worse. But there's guys that will copy rather than create. You can't do both at the same time, man. You can't make legitimate money and counterfeit money at the same time. It's impossible. Okay. You can't copy somebody else's material and become your own guy and create your own programs. So it's really important that people, whatever you're telling the world, man, you shouldn't have to tell them what you're doing. They should say, oh, I see what you're doing. Right? I shouldn't have to explain it. I remember like my business philosophies and investing philosophy is very simple. I remember this guy trying to tell me about this investment. And for about 2 or 3 minutes, he rambled on and on. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not going to do it. And he's like, well, you don't know enough. I said, oh, yeah, I do. I know that you can't even explain what you do. Well, let me explain it to you a little more, man. Or let me get my CFO over here. Or let me get the lawyer. Bro, if I need that many people, I don't want to be involved in it. Because I'm going to go home, I'm going to go to sleep at night and say, I don't know what I invested in today. So I'm a simple guy. There's nothing complicated about me. There's a window on every office from the front door to every office in my, you've been here?
I have.
Windows everywhere, dude. Why? Why is that? Because I'm transparent. So some people don't like glass everywhere. Why?
Because they don't want you to see what's going on, right?
Yeah. Look, man, look. So, and look, I don't think I do everything right. I'm not saying I do everything right. I don't need to. I'm not getting grades now.
So this obsession, I think it's interesting. A lot of people would ask, how do we replicate that? How do we copy that? But at the end of the day, you can't. You got to create it.
Dude, you got to create, you got to be yourself, and then you got to start attracting people. And I didn't answer the second part of this, which was you got to be willing to let go of those that can't play in your field, man. Mm-hmm. Let them go, you know? So you might not vote conservative, but you need to operate your business like you won. So you guys don't like the GOP and the conservatives and the Republicans. Run your business like one. Vote Democrat if you want to, but run your business like a Republican. I mean, a hard, staunch, conservative. Only reward people that earn the reward. Get rid of the people that don't. Penalize everybody else and be hard about it.
That's good.
Because then everybody knows the deal, man. Like we're doing a yacht party. We hit this huge goal last month, and we're doing this yacht party, and I'm like, I had a meeting with Sherry and Jared. I'm like, well, do we invite everybody in the sales department? What about some of those people that didn't make enough calls and and they're like, well, Grant, they're on the team, you know, they're on the team. The guy's been here 15 days, man. Come on, man. And they're like, yeah, but Grant, he's on the team. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We won the Super Bowl, but he was on the team. He was in the right place at the right time, so we're going to go on the yacht, right? It doesn't mean I'm going to talk to him, though.
Doesn't mean he's going to get your attention, right?
No, because he ain't got your attention yet. That's the real world, though. The real world is you don't get to join the New England Patriots. What's your team over there? Tennessee, what they call?
Tennessee Titans.
There you go, the Titans. You don't get to join the Titans, man, and be best buddies with everybody the first day. I mean, you got to earn your way. And that's how you create a team. That's how the Patriots created a team.
All right, so I'm big. You know, my philosophy is everybody needs a coach in life. And I'm always looking at guys like you and I'm asking, what is the differential advantage for this guy? Where did it come from, right? What has impacted him? Who has coached him? I've heard you say multiple times at 45 years old, you found a technology, all right? And I want you to talk about you found different technologies in your life that have given you, I guess I would call it some type of an advantage. It's a system, a philosophy. Will you talk about that? Will you talk about the different technologies that you found, human technologies, different technologies that have been instrumental to you?
Sure, man, sure. So I've been searching my whole life for the truth, man. I remember I probably was 7 or 8 years old. I was brought up Catholic. I'm in a Catholic church, Immaculate Conception, Lake Charles, Louisiana, little church, beautiful church too, man. All the trappings of a beautiful Roman Catholic church, And my dad's still alive. It's 3 years before my dad died. He's the usher. We're respected people in the community. Every Sunday we go to the same church. Every Sunday, dude, we sit in the same pew. Every Sunday, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my mom, it's my brother, it's me and my sister, right? Everything's orderly too. I kind of dig that, right? And dude, I remember I couldn't have been more than 7 years old. I remember the clothes I had on, man. My little black pants, my little pleats, my little white shirt, short sleeve. I remember how long Mass was too, man. It seemed not long. Okay. And I remember looking up there, man, and I heard about, man, I'm going to spend the rest eternity in hell. And I'm like, man, I got to know, man. I said to my mom, I said, how do I know if that's true? And she's like, you can't know everything. Some of this is left for the Lord. I said, how you know that? You know how the kid's all inquisitive?
Yes.
They just keep saying, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Right? So look, my whole life I've been looking for spirituality. Like I've been looking for the truth. I've been looking for, am I mortal, immortal? Why am I not reaching my full potential? Why do I go off on these paths that aren't good for me? Why do some things that are not good for me like become a temptation? And why do I go up and down in life? And so I very much believe in God, right? I for years, I remember using the mantra, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthen me, which is straight out of the Bible. I used that for probably from the age of 25 till I don't even know how long, man. Sometimes I still think about it. And I believe that I can do. I remember, I know in the book, the Bible, it talks about Jesus saying, you can do all that I can do and more. See, I believe all that stuff. However, I never had a technology, man, that I could apply to all the parts of my life, whether it was my marriage, my finances, my business, my physical condition, the problem I had with drugs, how to get that finally out of my body and out of my mind. So when I was 45, I was introduced to the book Dianetics when I was 25. That book like literally shifted my whole landscape. And then got introduced to the technology of Scientology and study, the technology of study, Scientology, fundamentals of life, studying courses where I got to discover for myself, learn for myself, not for what somebody else said. Mm-hmm. This isn't tabloids, by the way. Okay, I know some of you checking out at your local store and you're like, Tom Cruise, dude, all that's garbage. I mean, if that's where you get your news, you're a wrecked individual. Mm-hmm. I had a guy tell me the other day, I can't check into it. Really? Where'd you learn about that, man? Oh, the tabloids. Bro, please don't even ask me for advice, okay? I'm going to put you in the loser column if that's where you get your information, or from the internet. So anyway, I studied it for myself. It's been unbelievable for me. It's given me answers with so much certainty for myself to know who I am, mm-hmm. to know what happens to me when I die. Mm-hmm. What is my purpose? What is my potential? How do I make a difference in the lives of others? How do I balance everything in my life? Well, the answer to that question is simple. You don't. Mm-hmm. You do life and have everything sit inside of life. I learned that at Scientology. Mm-hmm. Okay. How do I rather than taking life and pushing my marriage and the kids and the business and the money around, instead, it was proposed to me, dude, why don't you just do your life, bro? And put all these things in your life, and you let your life adjust these things, mm-hmm. rather than you having another job to adjust things. And that was like a game changer to me. So I've gotten so much help there. I mean, I've studied it for 12 years. People can go read a book. Don't read a book. You don't want to do it, no problem. I know Baptists that are Scientologists. I know Baptist preachers that are Scientologists. I know Muslims, Jews. I've seen Jews, Muslims, Baptists, Christians, Protestants, agnostic, and atheists all sitting in a Scientology chapel, all agreeing on the same thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that technology at 45 years old helped you to figure a lot of this stuff out, right? And helped you to elevate. And
it helped me start removing untruths, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. like what I can't know. You see, when you surrender to the idea that you can't know God, mm-hmm. you're giving up on one of the basic premises. Mm. I mean, that's not what the book says. The book says you can't know. Mm-hmm. Nowhere does it say you can't know. That's human saying you can't know. Mm-hmm. You can't know because you don't look. Mm. And if you can't know the most important thing in the universe, how can you know the simplest things? Mm.
So when you were going through at 25, and I know you told yourself thousands of times you were going to break these cycles, right?
Yeah. Thousands.
And you got up and said, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to change today. Because there's a lot of people out there who, to me, there's this vicious cycle of start with good intention.
Yeah.
We fall off the wagon and fail to follow through because of some variable, right? And then we feel guilty about it. And it was really you who introduced me to the concept of what we're really grieving is we're grieving our lost potential.
Yeah. I told you that. I remember exactly the day I told you that.
Yeah, and so I'd never seen. I'm like, well, what are we grieving? Well, why are so many people on? Well, what we're grieving is the fact that we started with good intention, we fell off the wagon, and now we feel guilty. Well, the guilt's associated with grief. The grief is grieving the lost potential, and you went through that for a number of years. But at 25, you kept replaying, and finally one day it hit. What was the catalyst for that? The day that it actually happened. The day that you said, "Is it?"
A couple things. Number one, what you're saying is, why are we talking about grief? Because I don't know if the audience knows how you like skip to freaking grief. Because what happens is if you've ever experienced a movie or music. I remember watching Dances with the Wolves, man. What's the name of that movie? That was Dances with Wolves. Yeah, Dances with Wolves, dude. Or Braveheart. Mm-hmm. Dude, the end of those movies were so just tore through my soul, man. When I watched Wallace say freedom and they cut his head off, right? It ripped me. Or when I watch some unbelievable ball game, that ends in this great catch, and I get so moved, or a speaker that moves me so much, and I'm like, why am I experiencing grief, dude? This is weird. Mm-hmm. And then one day I realized, okay, it was like the door of my potential is being knocked on. whether it's the great one-handed catch or the movie that was written to cause this reaction, right? Or whether it's the love I feel for my child, man. Like I told my daughter Sabrina the other night, I said, dude, she wakes me up at 3:00 in the morning and makes me bring her to bed again, right? And she'll have a nightmare or something, and I carry her, dude, and I'm like, I love you so much. The feeling is so much bigger than myself. So it's at those moments that I'm awakened, that I experience something outside of my body. You know, whether it's a reminder, this is your potential. I don't know, is that God? Hey, dude, pay attention, bro. Okay. Hey, this is your potential. That's why you like that one-handed catch. You know, and that's why you're crying right now. It's a response to what's possible for me. So that thing for potential, experiencing that thing with Sabrina this morning at 3:00 in the morning, it was like, oh, the potential to love, man. What if I could develop that to love people I don't even understand? You know, the young black kid, maybe that's scared of the policeman in Baltimore. Or somebody that's you know in another part of the world that I don't understand, that I think is a threat to me. I think I experienced at that moment the potential. I don't know if that answered your question, but
yeah, in a lot of ways you don't even feel like, and I think this is the part that's very inspiring to the audience. You don't even feel like you're even close. Even granted all the things you've done, a lot of people look at you and think, man, this guy's playing it. When I was speaking today, I was like, man, this guy's got $500 million of real estate assets. He is clicking on a lot of cylinders. But in your mind, you ain't even close to your potential.
No, dude, because I know what it is.
Yeah.
And I've had this experience since I was a little boy, and I've talked about this a lot in the book. You know, when my mom used to tell me, I'm so proud of you. My sister, my mom, both my parents are dead. All my uncles and aunts, no grandparents, you know, like I don't have anybody. When I have a victory, I still want to call my mom up, dude. You know, the book hits #1. I'm like, I want to call my mom up. Hey, mom, and mom's gone. Right. So those are victories. But I remember my mom used to tell me, when I'd tell her, I'm going to be rich one day, Mom, 16 years old, I'm going to be rich. And she'd be like, I love you just the way you are. See, I say this and I share it a lot because the people around us that are well-intentioned, that love us, that care for us, you know, I don't know if your parents, I expect your parents are still alive. They probably, your dad and mom they probably grab you and say, little Michael, you're doing good. But you know, you're the only one that should judge that, dude. You know? Because the truth is, it doesn't matter what they think about how well you're doing.
That's right.
And that's why it never fills us up enough. Now, if you go to your local counselor or psychologist or psychiatrist in Nashville, they're going to tell you, Michael, if they open their little book of made up stuff, they're going to be like, well, Michael, that means you have some kind of, I don't know, they'll come up with some special name, right? That you can't pronounce. You have some type of father, mother condition. And you'll be like, no, dude, I know I can do more. I mean, couldn't that be it? No, you have a void inside of you, Michael, and no amount of success, no matter how many girl teams that you take to championships, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many kids you have, no matter what you do for the community, you will never fill that up. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. You're making stuff up. Okay. You live in a 2-bedroom house right now. Okay. Other than you doing this every day, that's all you do. Like, show me the proof. I want to fill up, you know, and I don't want to lie to myself. So I know I can do more. This jet. Why does a guy end up with 3 of these? You know, why do they buy? Because they can.
Well, when you're talking about this, there's a lot of people that are going to identify with this book. I was one of them because my whole life, you know, I've apologized for the way I think, how hard I work, how hard I go, taking 10 books with me on vacations. You know, my granddad used to say, man, are you going to write another damn book on our vacation? You know what I mean? I heard all of that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like what's like something's wrong with you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Slow down, relax, take it easy, balance. So when you said be obsessed or be average, I said, man, my whole life I've apologized in a lot of ways or felt, you know, like I'm out of place. You call it the black sheep of the family in some ways, but that's what I think. There's a lot of people out there that have done that their whole life. Is they are obsessed, but they're taught to suppress all of that.
But you know, your granddaddy wasn't even talking to you, man. That's what I know today. Your granddaddy wasn't talking to you. He was talking to himself. See, that's what I know about these people. You don't even need to correct these people. Like, what was he saying? You going to write another book on this vacation? What he's saying is, I wonder why I've never written a book. He's just saying it weird. It's just coming out all contorted.
Yeah.
So, and I talk in this book about the naysayers. You know, the haters have been, the whole hater revolution. Haters gonna hate. You know, there's a lot of quote on haters, but the haters aren't the problem. It's the naysayers that are the problem. The haters are obvious. It's like your enemies. Enemies aren't your problem. It's the people that are close to you that are diluting your purpose and your mission. Okay, the millions of people that continue to stay where they're born, that live in the neighborhood that they grew up in, that never ever challenge anything. You know, how many people are brought up a religion and the only reason they go to that church is because their mommy and daddy went to that church, and they've never ever considered, what do I believe, man? How much faith can you really have if you don't even challenge?
You're just
if
adopting.
you don't look.
Yeah, you're just adopting what other people believe, right?
Yeah, and by the way, that's what most people do with their goals. They adopt jobs, marriages, children, titles. They become the department head, think that's a goal. They become a father and a husband, they think that's a goal. They become do whatever, man. Like how's that freedom? You know, so I'm a big freedom dude. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I want my damn freedom. That's what I want, and I know that's what God wants for me.
All right, so let's shift here. We got some people that come to the studio today just to see you. One is a big fan of yours named Good Time Tommy Davidson. He's in the house with today.
Tommy D, what's going on, TD?
And Roy Frazier is in here with us. We got several hundred people watching on Facebook right now. Here's something that I think people are interested in about you. Is I really feel like you set out to build what I would consider indestructible wealth. I mean, really serious wealth, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So a lot of people get all kinds of counsel about what to do with their money. I mean, just look at the books that are out there from whether it be, anybody that's out there on what to do with their money. There's a lot of confusion, but you've made a simple decision at a certain point in your life that you're going to build indestructible wealth. You're going to do it through multifamily. So what's the concept of building excess cash? Break that down for me. Where your business builds you excess cash. You take that excess cash, you build it to a certain point, you then invest it in the multifamily. Explain that to the viewer.
Well, you want multiple flows of income. I mean, I don't want diversification. I'm not going for diversification. I want flows of income. I want income that pours on me regardless of what I'm doing. So I'm not getting paid to do this interview right now. I'll get paid back spiritually. I get paid back. Is somebody going to buy a book? I don't know. Maybe somebody's going to buy a book. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know I need to be in the game. Now, the rest of my life has got to get conducted financially because you live on a financial planet. And anybody tries to tell you otherwise, this is a financial planet. This is an economic planet. Money is as real as gravity is. You will need money before today's over. If you can go 24 hours, good. But tomorrow, Tommy David right there going to be looking. Somebody going to ask him for something. Valet the car, go to the grocery store, wherever, right? You probably sold him a ticket to be in here. So you live on an economic planet. Now you got to ask yourself, man, how much money is enough money? How many income flows is enough income? This is a long question you're asking me that we could spend hours talking about, but there's some arbitrary garbage quote going around that the average millionaire has 7 income flows. Okay, there's no way. The average millionaire has way more than 7 flows of income. Okay, I have hundreds of flows of income. Nobody needs to think about 7. You need to think about hundreds and hundreds. So what I do is I get good at my first business. Worry about the top line of your financial statement. Do not worry about your budget. Do not worry about your expenses. Spend 95% of your time on those 2 inches. There's about 2 inches on a financial statement. The rest are pages and pages and pages of expenses. The power of revenue. I have an accounting degree. Doesn't mean I know much about accounting, but it does mean I simplify things. And I talked about that earlier. Dude, I need 1.5 inches to pay for pages. Okay? I need at the bottom of that thing to be net profit, cash flow. Cash flow is what I can live on after I pay myself. That's the leftover profit after I paid myself and everybody else. I want that profit, okay? I'm going to slice off the piece for the Internal Revenue Service, which, by the way, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I don't pay him anything. In fact, get that money back. And if you don't do that, you're not a good American. You're just dumb, okay? I'm going to take that money and I'm going to take all that money and I'm going to push it off to the side until I know what I want to invest in. Now, my choice has been multifamily real estate, multiple doors. We're buying this month. I think we're closing on 900 units more this month. We've got about almost 5,000 units now. Because I know it's indestructible, dude. It's indestructible. There's nothing going to change it. I don't care if I overpay for it, okay? We are a renter nation. We're going to continue to be a renter nation. There was no reason for people to buy homes. Millions and millions of people. There's millions of people that do not belong in homes today. There's 75 million Gen X or millennials. There's 80 million baby boomers. 150 million people in America don't need homes. So I take that money, I throw it into those doors, and those doors should throw me a passive income, as passive as I can get. I remember meeting a guy. I was in Italy, in Capri, little island in Capri. We stayed at the nicest hotel in Capri. And the reason I stayed on the nicest hotel is not because I need those 600 thread sheets. It's because I know I got a chance of meeting some money in that hotel. And there was a dude at the pool, man. And the guy's kind of overweight, man. He's got a big watch on. I said, what do you do, man? He's like, I own every parking meter in the Soviet bloc. And I said, whoa, dog. So when you pull up in Siberia and park your car and you put in one of those krones or whatever quarter you got, that dude gets paid. Okay. See, that's probably not going to go away. It'll change. It'll be electronic. There won't be a coin, but somebody's going to own that piece of real estate. That's called income property. Somebody's paying for that parking lot.
Monster Producer has completely changed my business. I created a whole new service level from being a part of Monster Producer. One event that I came to caused me to think completely differently about what accounting is, what it does for other companies, and how we really help people. And so each time that I come to Monster Producer, I have a new way of thinking about my business that is different than before, and that's what I love coming to these events for.
We've been a part of Monster Producer as a company for about a year, and it's been really good for our team to kind of see the strategies that he teaches and the things he does to motivate and agitate, get our prey drives going to do more things. He actually helped us see things a little bit different. Like he says, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame, so he gave us some things to look at from outside so that we could look at it in a way that our customers would benefit, and then we would speed up the cycle to our benefit as well.
Jay Cash, the auctioneer here. I've been in Monster Producer for I think going on about 2 years now, and it's the real deal. And it's really been one of the best decisions I've ever made. A lot of times Coach talks about a 43% increase in your business. I feel that number out the door. Just the last year, in our second year, our business saw what was already a record amount of growth. To last year, we did 67% increase in business.
For all the people out there, you draw your goals up every day. I've seen you write your goals up, but they're not like goals like to do, I got to do this. They're like big. Like when you write them up on the right side of your 10X planner, I've seen it. And I think the day I saw it, I can't tell everybody what it said in there, but it had something, when you say I'm going to do $1 billion of real estate, now it's $5 billion or whatever the case. Those are intentional steps that you're taking, so the people know that when you draw it up, these are the intentional steps I'm going to take to own $1 billion of real estate.
Well, no, there's no steps. There's no mechanics in it. There's just, hey, I'm going to own $4 billion worth of real estate. I'm going to own and control. I'm going public. I'm going to go public with a company. I don't know how. Okay. When I started this, I was writing down, I own 20 units. I used to write down all the time. I didn't own anything. I didn't own any property, dude. I never even bought anything. I never even read a book. I don't even have a little license. And I never got a license. I don't know why I'd get a license. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'd write down, I own 20 apartments that cash flow 12%. And I wrote that down in the morning. I wrote it down at night. That was just one thing I wrote down every day. I'm a best-selling author. I never even wrote a book. I don't know how to write a book. Don't know how to get one published. Nothing. I don't know anything. And I just keep writing it, dude. I just keep writing it, okay? Now, I'm not talking about the law of attraction here. I'm not talking about a mirror. I'm talking about taking action, staying focused on where I want to go, you know, so that I can get my car to the office. So I can get the unit, the body, to the next place, right? So I'm focused on where I'm going. So over that period of time, 25 years now, I guess 30 years now, I passed up on football games and hunting trips. I passed on Mexico trips. I have not done a lot of things that a lot of other people were doing. So I paid the price today or yesterday in hopes that one day I can pay a price, okay? And that price has been, I have pushed all my energy, all my money, all my focus on a handful of things rather than a lot of things. And part of that was, hey, I want the hottest chick in the room. You know, I want two beautiful kids that love, cherish me, that have fun with me, that want to be with me, that are extroverted to the people around them, that actually help me grow my business. I want a business that works for me. I don't work for it. I mean, you can see my setup here, dude. It works for me. It's all built around my life. So I don't know if that answers your question, Coach Micheal Burt, because everybody needs a coach.
Everybody needs a good coach.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about offense.
Everybody needs an obsessed coach,
That's
man.
exactly right. That's why you and I have such in common, man. So when you think about this, you made a decision, I don't know, a long time ago, go from kind of a defensive posture to an offensive mobility. And you made a decision to play offense all the time, right? And that's the frequency that you push out.
Yeah.
Once you made that decision, okay, because I think, you know, several years ago you said, I'm not pushing out enough. I don't have enough of this. I'm not horizontal enough. Once you made that decision to go, right? Then you have implanted that in your ability. So talk about that offensive position versus defensive mobility. How you want to play offense every day.
I don't know if it's right, man. I just know that, you know, I just want to be on offense. You know, I pack a gun almost everywhere I go, man, because, you know, I just don't want to be shot in the back. I don't mind if you shoot me in the face. I just don't want to die with a bullet in my back, dude. See, I don't mind going down as long as I'm shooting. See, I remember playing baseball, man. One of the big failures in my life was that I played baseball and I didn't make it. And I remember before I actually bailed on the game, I was batting. The last time I was at bat, man, and I watched a strike cross the plate, and it was the third strike. It was the last time I was in a real game, you know, not an Xbox game, not a PlayStation game, but I was at the back in a uniform. I was 19 years old, and I didn't swing. And I'm like, dude, that's the last time I won't swing. I'm going to swing. I remember getting in a fight with a guy, you know, and I waited to throw a punch, and I never got to throw one. You know, I remember right before 2009 when the economy collapsed, and I knew this thing was ugly. So today, look, I want to be on offense all the time. I want to stay on offense. The moment I go into those bleachers, I know I'm at risk. So I'm gonna go see McGregor in Madison Square Garden here on the 19th. I know I'm at risk being in those stands, man.
So fast forward, we gonna see Grant Cardone for president 2020?
No, man.
And if you were coaching Trump or Clinton, what would you tell him?
I'd tell Clinton she ought to just come on, man. Just do everybody a favor. Well, you can't coach her, bro, because that whole thing's a scam. Okay. What would I tell Donald? He ain't listening. This is what I would tell the people. Okay. You got two choices for president. That by itself is a problem. This is a rigged deal. The whole deal's rigged. The media is a liar. Everybody knows they're liars. They're liars, man. You're getting your information from liars and thieves and people that are they are basically telling you what you need to be told so you sit civil. They're trying to keep you out of the game. They're driving the American voter into apathy. Okay? They've created illusions. They've been working with the politicians for years that, oh, by the way, are just working for other guys. So I wouldn't try to tell Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton anything, because they're not going to listen to me, man. Because they could never, they know what I'm saying is true. They're going to think I'm some kind of crazy fanatic. The American voter doesn't matter anymore. What matters is the American success story. And if you don't get you and your family successful, you have no chance in this country for the American dream.
And you're taking back that power. You're not dependent on anybody else. You still got the same thoughts about the middle class, right?
I make more money when Democrats are in office than when there's Republicans, man. So you know why? Because a lot of people go to sleep. You guys keep believing they're going to help you. They're not going to help you. How can you help a middle class that doesn't exist? It's all based on a lie. What is the middle class? Pew Research this week came out and said in Nashville, Tennessee, 54,000 puts you in the middle class for a family of 5. Look, I don't need some serious math class to understand the math doesn't work. At 162 grand, you're in the upper class. So do the math on that deal. 162. I have no state taxes there, right?
That's right.
You make 162, 80,000's coming off for the federal government. You're at $82,000. You have a family of 5. That's $15,000 per person. You don't have a house payment, a car payment. I guarantee you there's at least 3 cars in that household. Those payments are at least $300 a pop. That's $1,000. You're living on $6 grand a month. Now you're down to 5. Your house payment's going to be $3,000. Now you're down to $3,000. Now you're down to $2,000. You haven't had any groceries. Those are $600 a month. Now you're down to $1,400. There's been no catastrophe. You hadn't bought a pair of shoes or a T-shirt. Your kids don't have uniforms to go play baseball or soccer. You don't have a dog yet. You got a dog, that's another $75. You're down to $400. When do you get yours? And they say at a 162, you're rich. You're upper class. Okay, it's a lie. The whole thing's a damn lie. The banks are a lie. Buying a home's a lie. The college thing's a lie. Am I destroying all your business right now? Life insurance. You know why you'd buy life insurance? Because you don't save your own money. So give it to somebody else. Why would you do the 401k? The 401k was built by politicians for Wall Street so you would get rid of your money and give it to Wall Street for 40 years. Now, if I came up to you on the street, Michael, I said, Michael, there's a stranger over there. You don't know his name, but I want you to give that $80. By the way, they do this $80 at the time. You got $80 left over at the end of the month. I want you to go give it over to that stranger right there. He's going to fly to New York and he's going to invest that money and you're never going to see him again. And by the way, you can't get that $80 back for 30 years without a penalty. Would you do it? Yeah. But you see, politicians got together with Wall Street, with lawyers and said, why don't we sell this to the American public, man? Give them a little tax break. Promise them this is the way they can get rich because they're stupid anyway. And we know they'll go for it. And we'll get control of their money for the next 30 or 40 years. The point of that whole story is this. You want control. You don't really want money. You want control of money. And you want control of a lot of people's money. You want to go wide. That's why I'm going to go public with my real estate company.
Count me in, man.
I'm going wide.
So the concept for the listener out there is that the government created the concept of retirement as well. That most people don't know, right? That wasn't a...
Totally.
Yeah, the government created this retirement concept.
Social Security, Medicare.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll give it to you later.
Yeah. So...
why though? Why? Why would they do that? That way we can tax you, man. We can justify taxes. You know, why is school 12 years long? You tell me any course between the first grade and the 12th grade you couldn't have done in half the time. No, they don't want to do it in half the time, dude. It's $180 billion budget. You know, what they want to do is they actually want to increase the funding for schools to a couple $1 trillion. They'd like to keep you in school for 40 years if they could, man.
So when Grant Cardone reaches up, because that's what today's show's been about, Be Obsessed, Be Average. This is the book that he's got out right now. It's already a bestseller. I got multiple copies. when you reach up, who do you reach up for? Because you do mention a few people. You do mention a few people that you really look up to, and like I'm reaching up to you. You reach up to some folks too. Who do you reach up to and why?
I study people. I just study people, man. It's not, I don't need to have coffee with them. I don't call people up and say, "Can you give me some time?" What do I want 3 minutes with anybody for when I can read their book and study them? I study their whole life work. Mm-hmm. So I have people all the time. Hey man, can I spend some time with you? Yeah, dude, read my books. Mm-hmm. You think that was a ghostwriter that read that? I mean, the 10X rule, when I read the 10X rule on audio, by the way, the 10X rule is still like number 2 or 3 on Amazon as an audio. Mm-hmm. We don't advertise that thing. That book originally came out with somebody else reading it. When I heard it, I called up Amazon, I called up Wiley, I called up everybody that had anything to do with it. I said, remove that from every bookstore in America. That is a piece of garbage. You guys told me that somebody was going to read that understood, and they didn't. So, and I almost had to go to court to get it removed. I said, I'll pay for it. I want it off every shelf. I don't care what it costs, and I'll go read the thing myself. I went and read the thing, and if you've listened to the 10X rule, you hear, I think I'm in chapter 6, and I'm like, hell, I don't even know what that word means. They changed that word on me. See, that's the publisher. I would never talk like that. And I start ripping off in the book, right? So I did the same thing with Be Obsessed or Be Average. Can you kill this phone? And I do that, man, because I'm authentic. I am who I am. Like I would not ask somebody to have coffee or dinner with me. Like, hey, can you mentor me over dinner? Mm-hmm. And if I did, by the way, I'd take them to dinner and I'd go pick them up in my jet. You get to meet a lot of people like that. But Mark Cuban, okay? I reach out to Mark and I'm like, hey, Mark, do you even know who I am? He writes me back, yeah, man, absolutely know who you are. Congratulations on your real estate portfolio on the new book. Mm. So I'm not going to ask Mark to mentor me, man.
Right.
Hey, Mark, you think you could spend some time with me once a month? Dude, it would be an invalidation of my understanding of time. Mm-hmm. So I might ask Mark, hey, man, can you send me back what I should study on this topic? Well, before I did that, I would study everything that Mark has written, every article, every interview, every book, like you do.
Well, I remember that, when you were having me on the Cardone Zone all those times, you had already read and devoured Zebras and Cheetahs. You had it marked up. You had the things in it. You had already studied every bit of it. And it told me a lot about you. It told me that you were constantly hungry. You were constantly looking, even though the success you've had. All right, man, here's what I want to do. I want to thank you for the hour that you give me. I know you create time. I appreciate, lack of a better term.
I regret it later.
Hey, don't regret this, man. Don't regret it.
No, I don't. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, sometimes I do too much. I like overcommit. And then I'll get in my car, I'm driving home. Man, why did I do all that, man? That's ridiculous, man. What am I doing, right? And then by the time I get home, I'm like, I'm glad I did all that.
Yes. Yeah, I noticed, man, when you take naps and wake up and say something to everybody and at your house, man, that I haven't been to yet. Here, I know why I bought this book. I know why I bought multiple copies. I know why it's been a bestseller. There's a person out there that's like, man, I want to be obsessed in a positive way. I want to take those negative thoughts and make them into positive thoughts. Tell the people out there why you think they should read this book.
Number one, you need to get back in touch with your addictive, obsessive, compulsive, control freak that is innate in all of us. Okay. If you've ever had a warrior tendency, like, who doesn't want to be the warrior, dude? Who doesn't want to be the hero, man? You got to go back and find that guy or gal inside of you, right? And grab that Alexander the Great. And number one. Number two, all the proceeds, the proceeds from the sale of this book go to Drug-Free America and Drug-Free World. I really want to make people aware, and I talk about it a lot in this book, about the whole labeling, ADD, ADHD, the OD, whatever they call everything. We've had hundreds of people in the first days that we published this book reach out to me for help for drugs, both addicted to prescription drugs, street drugs. And I know how painful it is to be addicted to those drugs, whether it's pain medication that you got onto because of an injury or it's weed. I guarantee you 40 people wrote me this week, dude, I can't quit smoking hemp. The kush has got me, man. You know, to people write me about heavy prescription drugs, Prozac, they can't get off Ritalin. I've been prescribed all that stuff, okay? And I'm going to tell you, there's a real good chance that you don't need to be on any of those, and that there was nothing wrong with you in the first place. You might have had some crazies affecting your space, your mental neighborhood, but and I just want to help people get off that stuff and make people aware of that. So they can write me at addicted@grantcardone.com, addicted@grantcardone.com. If I can help you get off those drugs, I will. All the proceeds from the sale of the book go to Drug Free America and Drug Free World. And dude, I just appreciate who you are, bro. I appreciate you doing your homework, dude.
Well, I get to spend time with talent like you, man. I really believe this. You're 3 and 4 steps, 10 steps ahead of everybody else. You're always a trendsetter. You'll do things, and I'll be like, dang, man, he did it again. He's always out there in front of everybody. Everybody else is always trying to catch up with you, man, including me. I'm like, man, that guy's killing us, man. So I'm impressed with you. I appreciate your friendship. I want to thank you for being. If you haven't got the book, guys, Be Obsessed or Be Average, unbelievable book. I got multiple copies, and trust me, there's not a day that goes by. And this is probably the best compliment I could give Grant as we close. There's not a day that goes by that I don't speak around the country that I don't refer back to something that I learned with Grant Cardone. And so we're spreading that message. We're getting it out there to the world. And I just want to thank you for being who you are. Grant Cardone, you can go to grantcardone.com. All you got, if you don't know who the guy is, you're not paying attention. So thank you, my man. Be obsessed, be average, 10X. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Every week, multiplying life, money, and business. And that's my man, Grant Cardone, the super freak. Thank you, big guy.
This event here that I'm at Coach's Lodge is the Monster Producer Retreat. I signed up for it a few months ago after talking to Eric and learning and following Coach with the idea that I want to become a professional coach and speaker. This retreat has been absolutely indispensable in my self-development.
Man, when I met Coach Burt, there was something that I always saw. I always say it's not about what I get from here, but it's what I can be able to give. Literally, that's the way Coach thinks, is what can I give to this guy and how can I impact his life.
So what attracted me to Coach is that we share the same beliefs about business, family, life, travel, impact. And not only is the message, the delivery, the purpose impactful, it's also the people here, the like-minded people, the driven, the impact-driven individuals and couples here makes a retreat like this that much more powerful.
For me, coming to this event was an opportunity to be around like-minded people who are looking to grow, letting Coach kind of pour into us and teach us systems and figure out, more importantly, what's missing, and actually to get stimulated, if you will. I use his prey drive terminology. Activate that prey drive and say, what's stopping us? How are we getting in our own way? And then not just talking about it, but putting some action behind it.
I believe getting around people motivates me. There's several pieces of our business that's been lacking, right? We're doing millions of dollars in revenue. We should be doing freaking tens of millions, but because I wasn't here, because I didn't know a lot of this stuff, it's kept me from leveling up my business. And I'm confident now that after spending a couple days with the super coach, Coach Micheal Burt, we figured it out. We've got the necessary steps to succeed, and we're going to implement them as soon as we get back home.
I'm here at the $1 Million Coaching Summit with Coach Micheal Burt, and I'll tell you what, guys, I mean, every actor has a coach. Every professional basketball player has a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Every tennis player has a coach. Baseball players, they have several coaches. And see, I got to go to an event, and I was in front of this gentleman, and he was sitting there answering questions, and he talked about prey drive. And I immediately connected with him, and he said, everyone needs a coach in life. And I went up to him right there at the lunch, and I said, you know what? I need you in my life. And I'll tell you what, it was the best decision I had made.
This event has been absolutely tremendous. The $1 Million Coaching Summit. With this event, it helps people to know how to put their story together and how to be able to help take their story and to be able to put it into a sense where they can help other people as well.
Unbelievable vibes, unbelievable people here. And it's really cool being around some big players that are willing to invest in their business and their lives. And I'm telling you, when you just get around this, there's literally no place like it. I mean, you can call it a retreat or you can really call it a reboot. And you really will get rebooted, rejuvenated when you're around these type of big time players. And we're learning all kinds of things, how to level up in life, how to level up in your business. I mean, how to do the things that are going to get you to the next level. So important that you get into these type of settings in order to really invest in yourself. Because I believe in going to these things, you're betting on yourself, you're investing in yourself, and that's how you're going to level up.